Welcome to DBeaver's YouTube channel. Our previous videos in this series covered many basic SQL statements, such as select, insert, update, and more. If you've already watched these videos and want to take things a step further, we encourage you to dive deeper into SQL scripting and learn about aggregate functions. The best way to start this journey is with the group by clause, which groups rows that have the same values into summary rows and is widely used when working with aggregate functions. Today, we'll talk about why it's needed, explain how it works, and look at some simple examples of its use. We assume you've already installed the DBeaver community app and created an SQLite database. If you need to learn how to download and install the application, follow the link in the description or click on the tooltip on the right-hand side of the screen. Let's start with a simple example and use the group by clause without aggregates. Execute the following. Select city from customer, group by city. In the results set, you can see that we get the list of unique values from the city column of the customer table. Looks familiar, right? If you haven't guessed it yet, let's run another query and look at its result. Select distinct city from customer. You can see that the result is exactly the same as when executing the previous query. And indeed, using group by without aggregates is much like using the distinct keyword in the select statement. However, it's important to note that in cases like that, select distinct will work the same or faster than a group by. Let's define what the main difference is between them. The distinct keyword retrieves unique values or records from a table, eliminating duplicates. In turn, the group by clause groups a selected set of rows into summary rows by one or more columns or an expression and is required if you're aggregating data, which means applying a mathematical function to it. Aggregate functions are an essential part of SQL, as they help users perform mathematical operations such as count, average, sum, etc. on data stored in a database. Other mathematical functions, also called non-aggregate or scalar functions, operate on each record independently, while aggregate ones operate on many records simultaneously. Today we'll start from one of the most common functions, count, which returns the number of rows that match a specified criteria. Let's run a practical example using our sample database. Suppose that we want to find out how many invoices each customer's created. To do this, we can select the billing address column from the invoice table, add the count function, and group the result by billing address. The query will look like this. Select billing address, count, asterisk, from, invoice, group by, billing address. When we run it, we'll see a result set that shows each billing address alongside the number of invoices associated with that customer. Please note that the count, like any other aggregate function, is always displayed in the result set as a separate column. Remember, you can filter your results using the where clause before grouping the data. For example, if we only want to include sales from one city, we could modify our query like this. Select billing address, count, asterisk, from invoice, where billing city equals Berlin, group by billing address. By adding this condition, we made our totals reflect sales made from Berlin, and we can see this in the result set. The important thing to remember here is that the group by clause is always placed after the where clause, and they cannot switch places. At the same time, the count function does not necessarily have to come after all the columns you want to select. Let's change our query by adding the billing postal code column after count. Select billing address, count, asterisk, billing postal code, from invoice, where billing city equals Berlin, group by billing address. Once you've executed this query, you'll see that the count function's results are now displayed in the second column in the order we specified when writing the statement. With DBeaver, Understanding and using this aggregation function became much easier as its data editor has a grouping panel. With it, you can perform calculations without creating a query manually. Let's try to complete the previous task again, but this time using the grouping panel. Open the invoice table and find the grouping panel in the vertical toolbar on the right-hand side of the data editor. The count function is applied by default in this panel, so you just need to drag and drop the billing city and billing address columns from your table. To get the desired result, use the filter field inside the grouping panel and enter there the following condition: billing city equals Berlin. Press Enter or click the Apply Filter Criteria button. That's it. We got the same result as when executing a query with the count function earlier, but using a convenient DBeaver's visual interface. Great job! You just made an important step in learning SQL. And now you can use the group by clause together with the count function. In the description below this video, you'll find a link to the full playlist about SQL for beginners. If you missed any episodes, we recommend you watch them. The following tutorial will show how to find the largest and smallest values of the selected column. If you want to learn more about aggregate functions and how to use them, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.